And up a little bit, up.
Your camera speeding.
And sleep.
So is Alpha dead?
Julie, I don't think alpha is dead. I think it's in scarce supply.
Scarce supply. So why? And has it gotten harder to find it?
I think it is harder, and I think it is about the speed of information flow. And I think that in 2013 and increasingly going forward, information just flows that much more quickly, and I think markets are just that much more efficient.
So talk about your process and how you identify alpha and deliver it to your investors.
So we're dedicated healthcare investors, and our process is very much predicated upon deep, deep fundamental research over time in a space, i.e. healthcare, that lends itself to alpha generation. But ultimately it has to be reflected in generating differentiated insights that are not shared or largely appreciated by the consensus view.
Well, tell me a little bit more. I mean, obviously, you went to medical school, and so that gives you a certain perspective on the areas that you invest in. So tell me a little bit more about that differentiated view.
Well, I'll give you a good example that kind of incorporates what we said about deep fundamental research over time in a space that lends itself to alpha generation. A very successful investment in years past was a company called Intuitive Surgical.
Okay.
They make the Da Vinci robot, or the robotic surgery, so they're the market leader. And one of my colleagues who came with me to start our new investment firm called Rock Springs Capital, he attended a medical conference for several years where there was an ongoing debate between the benefits of robotic surgery versus conventional surgery. Interestingly, that debate was pretty vigorous and was not clear who the victor was over some period of time, but I distinctly remember him coming back from that meeting and saying that the protagonist and antagonist in that debate, it was very clear that the person who was assigned to discuss the benefits of open surgery versus robotic surgery really didn't have a good defense and was only doing it because it was the assigned position. That was the, if you will, differentiated insight that while robotic surgery had been known, there was not a lot of commercial traction yet. And I think that debate was a reflection of the tipping point that was about to come. So there's an example of where one of my colleagues was doing the kind of in the field, on the ground, mixing and discussing with people who were the ultimate end users of a technology, where there was an ongoing debate, and one day that debate decidedly flipped in the favor of robotic surgery. And not shortly thereafter, the commercial success of Intuitive Surgical took off dramatically.
So how has your process changed over time, if at all?
I don't think the process really has changed. I think the process has really quite simply been, number one, know your companies as intimately as you can and know the end markets that they serve as well as you can. And I think those two elements are as much in fashion today as they were, and they will be going forward. Know your companies as well as you can and understand the dynamics of the end markets they serve. Those are the essential elements.